All right, so welcome to today's webinar. My name is Sean McMean. I am the host for this webinar. I am the founder and owner of ViniMac, and we help restoration and roofing contractors get more leads online. And today's webinar is going to be focused on the power of case studies, how to show off your experience and your completed jobs you've done so that you can become the best known restoration and roofing company in your area. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Let me share my screen here. Great. If you wouldn't mind typing a 1 in the chat if you actually see that screen that I'm sharing. Awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, today is about case studies. It's not a topic that many companies really talk about from the online marketing space, but it's one that can really set your damage restoration business and your roofing business apart because you're highlighting a major component that Google wants to trust your company, that you provide an amazing service. And so what we're going to cover today is a quick introduction, common issues, our process, what's working now, and we're going to set an action plan. Okay. And so my name is Sean, again, with ViniMac, and I have passion for the restoration and roofing industry because I've been a homeowner that's been experienced hail damage. I've experienced having to replace a roof. I've experienced a flood in my home and all of those things. And my passion comes from that because I've been a homeowner that's needed an amazing company to work with to solve those issues. And so that's where my passion comes from. And over the years, we've had the privilege of working with a lot of companies across the country. Here's just a sampling of those. And whether you're in restoration, water damage, roofing repair, siding, all of those sorts of areas, we can absolutely help you. We actually have a podcast where you can get a lot of helpful information. And I have a book that you can download that gives you a blueprint that we follow for each one of our restoration roofing clients. So if you stay to the end of this webinar, we're going to give you a free copy of that book, and we're also going to give you some amazing resources that you can download to help transform your business online so you can get more visibility. If you could just go ahead and turn off your cell phones, turn off Facebook, give me about 30 minutes of time, and I promise you that's going to be well worth it. Hopefully, I don't have a coughing episode here. I'm just getting over COVID over the last couple weeks, and I've got some lingering cough, so a little scratchy on the throat, but all good. So let's go ahead and dive into our goal here in 2024 is to help double the sales of 50 restoration and roofing contractors using internet marketing. And in order to do that, I want to make sure we're doing some helpful content and lots of resources to companies that are looking for increasing their visibility online. And you can do that with our webinars or podcasts, our downloadable resources, or you can work with us directly. So either way works for us, so then we can get to that 50 goal. Some of the common issues we see with online marketing in restoration and roofing is there's tons of competition in the local area. There's high costs of getting that phone to ring, and there's up and down results each month. And there's no proven process typically to help you get that phone to ring. And so what we find is that about 10% of the companies out there are getting about 90% of the revenue and jobs. And those 90% of those companies have little to no marketing strategy in place in order to get people to know that they provide an amazing service. And so what we really want to do is we want to focus on a couple different aspects here that will help you become the best known company in your area. You don't want to just be paying for leads all the time. You don't want to just rely on referrals all the time. But most companies are in this bottom left-hand corner where no one really knows who you are until they need your services, right? And so we want to transform that. And so today we're going to talk about case studies, and the case studies will really help you highlight the jobs that you've done and the work that you do and your expertise so that you become this best known company in your area. And so this is our blueprint that we use for restoration and roofing companies. And today we're going to talk about case studies. So the power of case studies and how to show off your expertise and your completed jobs that you've done. And so just to recap here, in 2024 and coming into 2025, there's really three sources of traffic that you can get your leads from online. And those are the free traffic resources and the paid traffic resources. We've done a lot of webinars in already this year that talk about many of these components. From a paid ad side, this is what you can typically look at: Google Ads, LSA, and there's some other platforms that you can utilize to generate more traffic and more business and ultimately more phone calls. But today, what we're going to talk about with case studies is case studies impact all of these areas. They impact your website, your Google Maps, YouTube, Bing, Apple, Yelp, and social media. And so case studies are a really important aspect that help increase your authority online and your exposure online. And so we're going to dive into those topics. What are case studies? I get to ask this question all the time when we bring on clients that work with us. Yes, I know you want case studies, but what is that? What is it? And so what we call case studies are pieces of content that highlight the work that you've completed. And so this content can be blogs, photos, videos. It can be before and after photos and videos. And then there's a short description that's written about the problem and solution and of that job or that project that you're working on. And you want to include the location of where that project took place so that you increase the local relevancy and expand your reach in your local service area. And so what you can do is you can package these together. And we're going to show you exactly how to do that and what kind of pieces of how do you put all that together in this webinar, and then the results you can get out of it as well. That's the most important. So you can publish that on your website. You can publish on social media: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Google Maps, and YouTube as well. So that's what case studies are. And here's some examples of case studies. This is from one of our roofing clients and a restoration client at the bottom there. You can see that it's in this case study, we're showing an image of the typical problem that they have. We're talking about the service we provided and the location that took place in. And so there's 3 roofing examples across the top, 3 restoration examples across the bottom there. And we'll dive into a little bit more how those are structured. But you can see a different way of doing it. You see one at the bottom where it's got before and after, and then you see at the top where it's highlighting the main photo from the issue on the site. But so, one of the common questions is, how can case studies help my company, right? If I take the time to put these case studies out there, what's the impact? And ultimately, the impact is improving local relevancy. And so you'll see this grid here. There's 3 different companies here that we work with. And these are different GPS coordinates on a map that are relevant to the specific service they provide in a specific area. And if you're in the 1, 2, 3, your company's showing up all over the place for that term. And that doesn't happen without Google understanding that you provide a service in a specific area and a wider service area. And so this is the result of, if you publish case studies, you publish content about your services, you're going to get results like this. And so, ultimately, how can case studies improve my local relevancy? Well, the number one goal of Google is to match searchers with local companies that can help them, so that searchers keep coming back to Google. And you see, I got these little icons of money. This is how Google makes money, right? And so you might ask the question, well, how are they going to recommend companies? Well, it's a very valid question. How does Google know what company can help these searchers? And ultimately, it's 2 main areas. It's what you say about your company and what others say about your company. And so that really boils down to, when you publish case studies, you solve both of these needs. You publish content about your content is published by you, and reviews are going to be submitted by your clients, right? And so case studies, when you produce these case studies, you're going to be doing both of these aspects. And those are the 2 biggest pillars you need in order to gain trust with Google to recommend you. Okay. I'm not talking about Google Ads here, but I'm talking about Google Maps and also the organic side of things. And so why is this important? It's important because 68% of online experiences begin with a search engine, right? And so whether you're pulling up your mobile phone, looking for roofing or restoration services, it starts with a search engine, and that search engine 9 times out of 10 is Google, right? And so publishing case studies has a direct impact on SEO, giving those relevant signals so that you have these SEO higher quality leads. And typically SEO leads will lead to a higher close rate. Okay. And so that's really what our data shows, is that we want to make sure we're producing quality content about the services we have and about a specific location of where we provided those services. And so it goes back to this acronym here. It's called EAT, and it's experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. And Google, this is from Google's document itself out there, where they're wanting every company out there to be able to follow these guidelines so that you can ultimately get the trust you need for Google to recommend your company. And there's no more important aspect of area where you can do this by case studies. So if you show a job you did and where you did that job, and then you back it up with a testimonial or a review, it provides amazing trust in Google's eyes to recommend your company to those searchers in those areas. And here's a perfect example. This is a study that was done recently that shows Google Maps accounts for about 30% of the influence online. Your on page or your website accounts for about 26%, and reviews count for 13%. There's additional aspects as well. These are some SEO tactics and things like that. But as you can see, well over half of the search signals online come from something that case studies can help you with. And so, it's an important aspect to gain that trust. And really where these case studies help the most is on the Google Maps profile, and also on the organic side of things, right? And so those, you can see at the top here in this orange area, that this is paid ads, right? And so these are very effective strategies as well, but we don't always want to pay for every single lead that comes through, right? And so by using Google Maps and organic, you're going to get quality leads that are typically closed better than even the map side of things. So ultimately, what this is going to do is, again, increase your local relevancy so you can get these fancy green ones all the way around your service area and get more phone calls, right? Now that we know that case studies can improve local relevancy, how do we go about doing this? So this is something where we're going to dive in, that you need to have a website. Obviously, everybody, if you own a business, you probably need to have a website out there. A lot of times these websites are not structured in a way that are going to help you get more leads. But at the end of the day, we have a webinar that we talked about building an amazing website, and so you're going to get a copy of that at the end of this webinar. We'll send you a link to that. But really what you want to have is a website branded for your company that loads fast and makes it easy for people to contact you, right? And once you have that, then you can make sure you're producing amazing content. This is where blog posts and case studies and press releases, service pages and location pages come into play. What we're mainly talking about today is case studies, but this is a section where you publish this content on your website, okay? And then you also want to be doing videos for these case studies as well. So if you have before and after videos, you can publish those on YouTube and embed them into the case study as well. Yeah, Stephen, you had a question there. Are case studies time sensitive? Have before and after pictures that are 7 months apart. Is that okay? Yeah, that's absolutely okay. You can always publish a case study of a job that you've done and then come back and update that case study after the fact and republish that post out there, right? So it doesn't matter on the time sensitive thing. What you want to really do is make sure that you're talking about the location where you provide that service, the problem, the solution, and then backing it up with a testimonial video or review from that person. Okay. Hopefully that answered your question. Now, what is the case study process? The case study process is, excuse me, there's that cough. The case study process is about gathering documentation of the job, including before and after photos, description of the problem, of the solution, and the location. So most of all of us are documenting our jobs, right, for insurance reasons or whatnot. And so you can use simply your phone. You can use any sort of software that you have. Some people use Encircle, some people use other softwares to document, how the job started and finished. And you want to compile this information into what we call case studies, showing the initial problem and then the solution, and write a typical piece of content related to that, about 500 to 1,000 words, highlighting the problem and solution, along with the location of where this was. And so include those before and after photos and videos and a client testimonial with that. And so here's an example of what those look like. This is a roofing example here. You've got some damaged photos here. You've got the team working, and then you've got the end result. These are not the best photos to look at here, but you can see that it lays out pretty much what we're looking for is that we provide an amazing service, and this is where we did roofing repair in a specific town, and then we're linking to that location page that we created, along with linking to the main service of roofing repair on there. If you during water losses, this is a client of ours in Atlanta that did a water loss and remodeling job, and so they don't write a lot of content with theirs, but they do a lot of before and after images on each one. And this really provides a relevant signal that, hey, we did a remodeling job after a water loss in Atlanta, Georgia, right? What clear signals did we talk about before? Gaining that trust. So if somebody's looking for, they have a water damage and they need a restoration company in that area, or they need a roofing repair, that there's nothing clearer than that. And a case study will provide amazing clear signals on that. And so once you publish these case studies, you start to, they build up over time. And you want to, if you don't want to just focus on one area. If you have multiple jobs in an area, you can certainly publish those, but you want to kind of branch that out. And so those are the real key takeaways here, is that you want to make sure you're gathering that documentation, and then you're gathering the photos and the videos, and then publishing that content on a piece of on the website and whatnot. And so let's dive in here real quick about what kind of projects you can take away from this. So really, when you're doing a case study, there's three clear requirements you want to have. You want to have clear documentation together. You want to make sure that you have a website section on your website where you can publish this content, and then you want to have social media channels in order to publish this content too, because just pushing it on your website isn't going to have as much impact as if you push it out social media as well. And so you want to gather a list of those jobs that you want to that you have documentation on. You want to collect those before and after photos for each job. You write a short blog or a problem solution blog about each job. And then you want to link to the service page and the location page of where that job took place. So you have a website, right? You typically will have a service section where I provide all of these services. And then you'll have a service area section where you have all the locations where you provide these services at. And so when you're publishing this case study, you want to make sure you're linking to both of those, so you create a lot of relevancy on this case study to that service and to that location. And then when you publish that onto your website, you want to also publish it out on social media channels: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Google Maps, all of those areas, and put a short description on that post with a before and after image, and then link back to that case study on social media. So when people see it on social media, they can click on it and it drives traffic to your website. Include a video, include a testimonial video on those. And so those are the big components that you want to include on case studies. And so my question to you is, are you doing case studies now? Anybody that's in the on the webinar here, are you doing case studies now, or are you documenting the projects and then just kind of letting it go, and not publishing this content out there on your website or on your social media? So if you are, amazing job. If you are not, now's the time to create an action plan of what you need to do. Do you have a YouTube channel set up? Do you have a blog section on your website? And are you documenting your jobs before and after, and taking videos and getting video testimonials? If you're not doing those things, now's time to take action on that, right? So that you can get those green grids and get more phone calls ultimately. And that's really what this will do for you. Okay, and so I invite you to take out a piece of paper, write down maybe 3 things that you want to focus on, and then who on your team or external can you ask to help you with this? Because as the business owner, you can't take on everything, right? You want to make sure you put systems and process in place so your team can execute on it. And if you don't have a big team yet, then maybe you pick 1 or 2 of these things you knock off and focus on over the next couple of months. But I promise you, if you follow this process, you're going to get results. So take action, never put off tomorrow what you can do today. Love this quote from Thomas Jefferson. As I said before, we help a lot of different roofing and restoration companies across the country. And, here's an example of a company that we help, has helped for a number of years. I believe it's at 4 years now almost. This is Prime Restoration out of Utah. They generate an average of 40 leads per month. And these are quality leads that are coming in, not just phone calls. And we provide a whole gamut of resources to them in order to do that. And another company that we work with is ABC Environmental. They do asbestos removal and abatement and mold and fire and water. And they get about 83 calls per month. And Pride out of St. Louis, they do a lot of water damage. They have 2 different locations with us. And another amazing company that's been working with us for close to 6 years now. So if you have any questions about case studies or how to make case studies work for your company, you can schedule a call with us by going to restorationmarketing.com/calendar, or you can call us at this number, and we'll be glad to answer any of those questions you might have or give you some recommendations. But we're going to have a replay at the end of this that you can look at. But our process really as a company is to increase our clients' visibility so that they have a brandable company that people recognize, that are going to convert more likely than not by showing the trust that you have, by producing case studies for you and making sure that you become the best known company in your area. And so if you want to have a comprehensive plan, feel free to book a call with us and we can absolutely go over it. Case studies is just a drop in a bucket as far as what we do for our clients. And so for staying at the end of this webinar, if you go to restorationmarketing.com/2024, you can download my book. You can download our resources that we have here so that you can implement for your company. But the last thing I would say is make sure you take action. Make sure you at least get 1 or 2 things done. If you have a job that you're thinking about that, hey, this is an amazing roofing or restoration job that I've done, publish 1 case study. And then the next month, publish another one and start somewhere. But if you have any need or any questions, feel free to visit us at restorationmarketing.com/calendar, and we'll be happy to schedule an appointment with you to either talk about case studies or potentially working with us. So yeah, no problem, Stephen. Does anybody have any questions at this time that they maybe need answered or anything? If not, not a big deal, but yeah, no worries, Vicky. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So again, if you have anything, you can give us you can go to restorationmarketing.com/calendar, and we'd be happy to chat with you on how we can help you grow your restoration and roofing business. Have a great day, everybody.